Hi everybody, it's Anne-Marie O'Reilly here, the Guidance Counsellor, and I'm just going to go through a presentation here in relation to subject choice. When I have this finished, I'm going to go through your subject choice form, and then I'm going to go through some websites which will be very useful to you and of great help in relation to finding out what subjects you require. So first of all, how should I choose my subjects? So I want you to think about the subjects you enjoy and that you'll do well in. So, for example, if you really like a subject, say, for example, English, it won't be hard for you to study that subject. You'll be able to sit down and you'll enjoy studying it. But as always, there are some subjects that people do not like. And if you don't like a subject, you'll struggle with sitting down and doing the work involved in it. So it's very important to pick subjects you really enjoy doing, because you're more likely to get good grades in that subject. I want you to think about your strengths and abilities. And if you're in transition year, I want you to think about the modules you've completed. And is there any module that you'd really enjoy that you'd like to pursue further? You have to choose your subjects very, very carefully, because it will impact entry to particular courses, colleges and careers. So there are certain subjects that are essential for entry to particular courses and colleges. It is important that you do this research and you're aware of the necessary requirements. As well as that, there are other subjects as well that are useful. Now, I just want to hit on the grading system. Coming from junior cycle, you're used of getting higher merits, distinctions and all of that. But the landscape changes once you go into senior cycle. Because now it's about whether you get a H1 or H8, that's higher level papers, or if you do an ordinary level paper, the percentages and what grades you get. For example, if for the entry to a lot of colleges for an honours degree programme, which is a study at 4 years, in either the universities or the ITs, you have to have 2 H5s. So that means you have to have 2 subjects, it doesn't matter which 2, at this level H5 that you're going to get between 50 and 59%. And that will give you 56 points. And then you have to have passes, which is 06, in the remainder of your subjects. There are 4 subjects. So for Leaving Cert, it's your 6 best subjects that are required. But for going to college, if you want to do an honours degree programme in the universities or the ITs, you have to have 2 H5s. So that's why it's so important that you have to pick subjects that you enjoy, because that will make it easier for you to get the basic entry requirements. So what subjects are going to be available to you? As I said, you must do at least 7 subjects for the Leaving Cert, but it's your best 6 that are accounted for points. So the subjects that you have to do are English, Irish and Maths. Now Irish, unless you're exempt, if you have an official exemption, that's perfect, that's not an issue. I look after all of that from you when it comes to your time of your Leaving Cert. Where eligible, students will have the option of studying LCVP, which is also known as Links module. So this is an extra subject on top of your 7. And students choose this subject because you can get points in it. And it can be counted as one of your best 6. Now I know Miss Waldron will be doing a presentation which will go through all of that. And we'll go through the subjects that will make you eligible for it as well. So as well as these 3 subjects, you have the choice of picking 4 more. And the 4 that will come from this list that's here. So you've accounting, agricultural science, applied maths we put on this year, so for anybody interested in that, and I'll be able to tell you where you can get more information on it. I have art, biology, business, chemistry. Construction studies was your woodwork class or your wood technology class. That goes into construction studies. That's what it's known as in senior cycle. Tech graphics goes into DCG. Metalwork or engineering, as known in junior cycle now, goes into engineering and Leaving Cert. You have French, history, geography. Your home economics goes to social and scientific. Music. And this year again, we're going to offer physics to see do we have any students interested in that. And I'll show you how to find out more information on that area. And then we have physics and chemistry. So on top of your English, Irish and Maths, you now have to pick 4 subjects from there. So what are the general college requirements that are there? Well, the big question is a lot of the time for me is, will I keep a third language? And I just want to talk a little bit about that. If you intend to go to any of the universities, the National Universities of Ireland, more to point, those being UCD, UCC, NUI Galway or NUI Maynooth, and you want to do a level 8 honours degree programme, which is 4 years of study, you have to have a pass in English, Irish, Maths and a third language. So that's the basic entry requirement. Before you even look at points, they need that. The next thing they're going to need is 2 papers at H5. So if you remember when I went back, I was talking about CAO points. So 2 H5s between 50 and 59%. So it can be any subject of your 7 that you do, that you have to get 2 of them at H5. And the remainder has to be at O6, that you just pass them, or have a H7 grade. Now, in relation to third language, there is an exception to that rule. If you are studying science, engineering or nursing in any one of these colleges, you do not require the third language. But the third language is required for medicine if you feel that's the course you want to do in either of those colleges. If you think third language, as I said, French, that's what we have on offer. If you feel French is not a strong subject and you just cannot face French for senior cycle, there is no need to panic. You are not ruled out of things. Because colleges like DCU in Dublin, DIT would be another one, the University of Limerick and all the institutes of technology, all they require is a pass in Maths and English or Irish. There's no need for a third language. But like the universities, if you're doing an honours degree programme, which is a 4 years study, you have to get 2 papers again at H5, which is between the 50 and 59%, if you remember back to the third slide or fourth slide that I showed you, and 4 passes. And Trinity College Dublin requires 3 H5s and 3 passes. So I know there's a lot of information on that page, but I want you to really consider, I suppose what we're talking about is the third language, because this is a common question I get every year. Do I need French? Well, yes, you do if you're applying for any of those colleges, except for science, engineering or nursing courses. And yes, you do require it for medicine. But now these are the basic entry requirements. We haven't even looked at points yet. So to get into college in Ireland, you need your basic entry requirements, and then there might be subject requirements. So what I mean by that, in terms of entry to third college, all subjects count equally for points. So the only exception is higher maths. So for any of you doing higher maths, you have to get at least 40% or higher, which will mean that 25 extra points are added. So for example, if you got an old a C3, which is the old grade, or what it's known as the H6 in it, it's your points plus 25, and that automatically puts up your points there. All third level colleges give the subject requirements necessary for entry to their course in their prospectus or their websites, and I'll show you how to get all of that. And what I mean by subject requirements is, do you need the third language or a science or lab subject? Or is there a specific subject you need for the course? So we're going to look at that now in relation to what possibly do I need. So as I said, when we talked about the languages, I said to you, UCC, UCD, all the colleges in relation to NUI Galway, which would be St Angela's in Sligo and the Shannon College of Hotel and Catering, NUI Maynooth and the Royal College of Surgeons require a pass in a third language for most of their courses. Other colleges have it as a requirement for certain courses that have a language component. For that means is, if you were going to study French in college, well then you would have to have done French for the Leaving Cert. You have no way around that. Entry to the cadetship in the Defence Force required a third language, and the NCAD, which is the National College of Art and Design, required a third language or art. So that is the requirement that is there. There is no third language required for Trinity College Dublin, University of Limerick, DCU and the Institute of Technology, technology, again, unless it's a specific course requirement. Again, as I said, engineering and science course in NUI Maynooth, engineering, science and ag science in UCD, engineering, science for student studies in UCC, engineering and any science in NUI Galway, except biotechnology, and in Garda, nursing and apprenticeships, and most PLC. So you don't need the third language for any of those areas. Science subjects. If you are applying for anything in engineering, medical, paramedical, radiography, physiotherapy, human nutrition, dietitian, pharmacy, med lab, podiatry, veterinary nursing, or science areas at universities, you will need at least one lab science subjects. Course requirements has to be checked on an individual basis, and a science subject is not also necessary for nursing, so that would be biology. If you're doing medicine, it can be biology and phys chem, or biology and chemistry, maybe biology and physics. So just for the medicine, I would advise doing the two because it would help you along the line there. So looking at chemistry and biology, these subjects, chemistry is required for public health, nutrition and biomedical science, dentistry, pharmacy and medicine, veterinary medicine and medicine itself. And just for any students that might be thinking of veterinary medicine, it is a requirement that you have a work placement of roughly 60 hours done. So that could change on year to year, but from the current climate, I think it's 30 they've brought it down to, but it will shoot up, please God, when everything gets back to normal. Biology is required for home economics with biology at St. Angela's. If you're taking biology as part of the arts degree in NUI Maynooth, and it's used for PE teaching, not a requirement with biology in DCU, and it's also for medicine. Now, with home economics, with biology teaching in St. Angela's, remember you have to have French for that. Why? Because St. Angela's is part of NUI Galway. So it's part of their campus there. With business subjects, for a lot of you, you might have done Junior Cert Business. It goes into two branches, business and accounting. I want you to be aware that business Leaving Cert is largely theory-based and it requires a lot of learning. However, the material is very practical and interesting to someone with a business mind. Accounting is a continuation of any bookkeeping skills that you had at Junior Cert. It does not require to be an exceptional math skills, but you want to be conscientious as there is careful and detailed analysis of figures and data, and you will have to practice your homework a little bit in order to get the best results there. Again, I also go through, there's a lot of subjects that will have projects and practical. So the first one is home economics, and that is known as social and scientific in senior cycle. So in 5th year, students complete practical and written assignments, and which make up roughly 20% of the Leaving Certificate. Art comprises of still life 25, design 25, figure drawing 13 and art history 37. So it's a lot of project work there. Music, you have listening and composing, both at 25% each, and where the big one is the performing and the performance technology, which is combined together is 50%. Geography combines a written exam of 80 and there's a project worth 20% there. So it's nice to have projects with things because it reduces the pressure of the requirements. History, there's a written paper 80 and a project 20. Construction, you have a theory paper 50 and you have a practical exam and a project worth 50 as well. DCG, which is your technical graphics, you have a theory paper of 60 and a project of 40. Engineering, you have a theory paper, 50%, and then you have a project and practical exam, which makes up the other 50. And ag science, you have a written paper and a project there of 75 and 25%. That's the way that one works. So things to consider. It's important that you choose your subjects carefully, as this could affect what you will do after the Leaving Cert. So it's very, very important that you take the time now and see, well, what are the best subjects for me? Do I need to do the French? Will that give me more options? But again, I want to emphasize, please do not take on French for senior cycle if you don't enjoy. You really have to enjoy the subject because you will have to get the work done in it. When you choose a good balance of subjects now, you should leave all your options open. For example, for any of you that are very confused and say, well, I don't know what I want to be when I leave school, I always decide to students, well, keep your language if you really want to, if you enjoy doing it. Have a business and have a science subject, and that will cover you for most things. Please consider all of the facts and ask for help if you need it. Do not choose subjects based on what your friends are doing or who you think will be teaching the subject. You have to do this subject choice for you. And you can't choose on who you might think the teaching the subject, because every year teachers change and we don't know our timetables until we go back, so we don't know what we're teaching. Please remember, Leaving Certificate subjects are studied in greater depth, so more time is needed for subjects, so you're going to have to put a lot more time into it. There is no such thing as a glamorous or a DOS subject, or one being easier than another. All Leaving Cert subjects of that choice list are hard. You will have to work at them. Beware of the consequence of not taking a subject or a specific level. So if you don't know, take French, beware of, well, that rules me out of NUI Galway, Maynooth, St. Angela's. But I still can do my nursing, science and engineering there if I want, but it'll rule me out of an arts degree. And be careful if considering taking on a new subject for Leaving Certificate. So if you haven't done a subject at junior cycle and you're thinking of taking it on in senior cycle, please contact the teachers that are teaching it at senior cycle and talk to them, because it can be very difficult to take on a subject if you haven't done it before in junior cycle. Some subjects you'll be able to, some might prove a little bit more difficult. So in summary, let's go through the tips for the do's and the don'ts. Please do subjects you enjoy and that you're good at. Choose subjects you need for any career you're thinking about. Keep your options open for the future by making balanced choice. And please talk to your parents and guardians, because they have to be involved in this decision. Myself, I'm available if any of you have any questions. And of course, the subject teachers who are experts in these areas. Don't choose a subject because your friends are doing it. And I don't want anyone to fall into that trap. You have to be very individualistic about this and choose subjects that you like and that you want to do. Don't choose a subject because you like or dislike the teacher. Don't choose a subject because you think it's or perceived as easy. As I said, all subjects require an in-depth work at senior cycle. Never choose a new subject without finding out more about it. And I'll show you places you can find out all about your subjects. But please do not choose a subject without finding more. And do not make a decision without thinking about it. You have to think about this and you have to have your research done. Now, if you want any help, where can I go to find information? I'll be going through all of that with you. So there's college prospectuses, which I have, which are books that I get from all the colleges, and they tell me about the courses that they have. At the moment, you can definitely contact me at all times, and I'll give you my email address at the end if you have any questions. The internet, I want to go through some of these pages with you. Qualifax, Careers Portal and CAO. UCAS is for the UK. And again, I want to go through our own, I think the starting point will be our own webpage. Now, I know there's an awful lot of information on this presentation, but I want to start off by going through some of the web pages. So the first web page I want to go through is our own one, ballyhonacs.ie/guidance. So when I go in there, I'm just going to go down here. The link will bring you straight in, but if you just click on the guidance and you click on the first link that's here, if you just follow me through, it will bring you to my guidance page, which is all there. And you will see from that page there's a lot of information up here on the top. But what I want you to look at is the Leaving Cert curriculum. And I'm going to click on that and we'll just go through it. Now, I find this page very, very useful for the simple reason is that all the Leaving Cert subjects are listed here. So if I want to find out about accounting or art or chemistry, I can just click on it and it'll bring me into a page that will tell me all about it. So for example, I am going to click here on biology. So it'll bring me into this and it will bring me to the syllabus and what's going to be taught in it. So I can click here on the Leaving Cert Biology syllabus, and it will tell me everything that's going to be covered over my 2 years of study in relation to biology. So it is a great page in that I can tell you all of that information. Now, if you want to find out information again about some of the newer subjects, so applied maths, remember I said is a new subject we're offering this year, and physics, you can find out everything about them there. But if you are interested in applied maths, I'd recommend you talk to Miss Madden or Mr. Genty, and they'll be able to tell you about that programme. And Mr. Murray would be able to tell you about the physics and what's involved in it. And the same applies for any of the other subjects. If you want to know what's involved in them, you can look here, but you can also contact the teacher that will teach it. So that's the first web page that I want you to go to. So it's our own homepage which is ballyhonuscs.ie/guidance. So I'll just do it here for you. /guidance. And when I do that, again, click on the first link and go to Leaving Cert Curriculum. And that is where you'll find all of those subjects. So it's a good page for giving you information there. Another good page that I have on this homepage is Qualifax. And Qualifax I would use an awful lot in relation to helping me to find out what subjects are required for courses and all of that. So if you click on Qualifax, it'll bring up this page that's here. Now, for students that may be confused and going, oh, I don't know where my strengths are and I don't know what subjects, they have a lovely interest test that you can take. And I'll just click into it for a minute. All you have to do is enter your name. So I'm just going to enter my name here and click Submit. And then I answer a series of questions. And at the end, it will give me, well, what kind of careers might be of interest to me. So if you're very confused, it's a good little test to do. There is 3 pages of questions, so it will take a little bit of time, but it is worth doing, and it might just give you and help you along the area. So I'm going to go back into the home page again. So I said if you want to do that interest test, it's there. But now I want to search all the courses. So this is a very useful tool in that I can type in a course here. So I'm going to find out about let's say engineering, and I know I want to go, there's a whole lot of choices here, but the one I want you to pick is higher education CAO. What that means is it brings up every course that's available on the CAO to you, and I can limit my search then, and I'll say no, I want to do engineering and I want to go to Galway, and I just click on search. It'll bring up every course in relation to it. So if I want to do, say for example, and I'll just go in to I'll just go Common Entry Engineering, and I'll do it in NUI Galway. So you'll see words like engineering undenominated. So if you're very unsure about what type of engineering you can do do the search like this, and it'll bring you into a course which will offer you in that first year a choice. And a taster of all the engineering programs, and then you'll make your decision. So my course is called Engineering Undenominated. It's going to be in NUI Galway. It's going to be a 1-year course in such as it's going to be 4 years, but to do a basic year and then you transfer into an actual whichever specific engineering you like and are required. And now this is so important. Specific subjects are course requirements. So this is where I really want you to look. And this applies for anything you search. So I have to get, again, remember the 2 H5s and the 4 passes. So I know that I need 2 papers that are going to give me 50 and 59% and passes in the other. And they conclude a range of subjects there. So the one thing I want you to note is because it's engineering, you do not require the French. So what they're looking for, you can have the 2 H5s in any of the subjects that you do. But there is a specific subject requirement in that you have to have a H4 in higher level maths. So if you're thinking of doing engineering in NUI Galway, you have to do higher level maths, and you have to get between roughly 60 and 70% in order to continue on and get into the exam. So this is very helpful in that if I want to do engineering and I don't know what subjects I'm going to pick, I just look here and say, right, what subjects do I need? Well, I know they're looking for English, Irish and maths. And then they're saying a lab science subject. So I have to do some lab science subjects. So maybe it'd be chemistry, physics, biology, phys chem, ag science or computer science or technology. And then I can have any other two subjects. So what I'm taking from that is English, Irish, maths. I'm going to do a science subject and any other subjects that I need. Okay? So it's very important that you read this. So if you're thinking of any course that you're doing, if you just go into the course name, as I said, type it in and it will give you that. Now another useful tool in this page, I'm going to go back out to the home page again, is if you go to search all courses and you go down here to useful tools, and it does what's called minimum subject requirements. So I click on that. And I want to look at leaving certificate subjects. So I pick that there. So it'll show me third level course which may or may not require the following subjects. So I want to find out, I don't know if I need, for example, I don't know if I want to do French or not, but I just want to see what's on offer. So I just click French. And then I go search. So it's telling me there are 462 courses that match my requirements. Out of that, there is 12 courses that definitely requires it. There's 450 that may require it. And there's 1,093 that don't. So I can go, right, I want to see the ones that definitely require it. And I want to view those courses. So as you can see, if you're doing something specifically in French or anything like that, that's there. But I can tell you that in relation to it, it'll bring me up in all the relation to NUI Galway and all of that. You do need the French for arts degrees and everything like it. So you can do that for any subject. What one shows accounting, and I want to research again. And I can see there's one subject that definitely required. So I want to do view that course. And that's if I was doing commerce or accounting in NUI Galway, I'd have to have French and I would have to have done accounting. So that's a very helpful page in relation to that. Another website, and I know I'm bamboozling you with a lot of websites, is Careers Portal. So if I just go into Careers Portal here, and I'll show you the website, www.careersportal.ie. And when it comes up the home page here, I'm going to careers. And I can search by an occupational title. So for example, if I want to be a doctor, I just type it in and go search now. And it gives me a whole lot of different areas, but I'm going, right, this is where I want to be, a doctor and a GP. It will tell me the salary range, but more importantly, it will tell me about the work, the person, what's the entry requirements. And remember, for anything with medicine, you have to do your Leaving Cert plus a HPAT, which would be an aptitude test. But it tells me all the training pathways, for a doctor or a GP, how to go on from there. What the labour market, what are the jobs like in it, what kind of person is very important. But I love this part in it. It will do, if I go back here, work context, it will actually do with interviews, and it will direct you to YouTube in relation to talk to doctors and general practitioners as well. So let me do another search there. Say if I want to become, if I go into careers again, remember you have to think of that. If I want to become a primary school teacher, I can go search now and it will bring me up teaching primary school. And again, I can find out what's going to be needed for it. So it's giving me the knowledges and skills that I'd have to have. but it'll tell me about the work, the person, the entry requirements. So in order to be a primary school, I'd have to have a degree in education done and all of that. And it will also, what I love again, is that it gives you interviews with people that are school principals, and they'll talk about how they got into their area, and there's actually YouTube and all of that. So it's a very good website if you're just doing general research. Now, as I said, I've given you a lot of websites there. So the first one is our own school one. The second one is Qualifax, which will help you in relation to the CAO. You can just research things there, and you can get subject entry requirements. And you can also get minimum subject requirement. And finally, there's Careers Portal, which will help you out as well. Now, the final part of my presentation is where I want to go through the actual subject choice form with you. So when we look at this, please God, when we come back, you will get a form like this. And in this, you will have to write your name, which is so important. And remember, as I said, all students generally study Irish, English and Maths. Now remember, if you're exempt, don't worry about that. And you have to pick 4 of these subjects that are here. Now there's a little star beside Applied Maths and Physics. As I said, if you're interested in Applied Maths, you need to talk to Miss Madden or Mr. Genty. They'll be able to tell you more about it. And on my own homepage in the website, as I told you, you'll find out what is required from the syllabus. And the same in relation to physics, you need to talk to Mr. Murray and he'll be able to help you there. And again, at the school website with my guidance web page, will give you the Leaving Cert subjects. If you click on that, you'll find the information as I showed you earlier on. Now, there's a little star beside them because the subject will only be offered if there are sufficient student numbers. It wouldn't make sense for us to be running either of those programs if we've only 2 students in each class. So we need numbers in order to run these 2 programs. It's very important then that you list your 4 subjects in order of preference. So what is my first subject that I really, really want to do? My second, my third and my fourth, so that you put them in order. And then if it's something that when we go entering these subjects on a computer system and we find that we can't maybe offer you subject number 4, well, what other subjects, what would be your 5th and what would be your 6th? And that will cover us in relation to, well, if there's one subject of the top 4 that we can't offer you, well, what would be the next one that you'd like to do? So as I said, in order of preference, and it's so important, what's your first, second, third and fourth. And then I want you to put down subjects number 5 and number 6, if you can. But normally students will give me a 5th subject to say, well, if I don't get any of those 4s, this would be my 5th choice and I would be willing to do it. Now the LCVP, as I said, is the next subject. And I know Miss Waldron will be doing a presentation. And when you hear that presentation then, in relation to subject combinations and all of that, you will find out whether you're interested in it or whether you're not. As I said, it's an extra subject and it has a lot of benefits. So you'll be doing your 7 plus your LCVP. But as I said, Miss Waldron will be going through that and you can make a decision on it. On our webpage, where you'll get this presentation in relation to LCVP is ballyhonacs.ie Senior Cycle. And you will see that presentation there from Miss Waldron and that will inform you as to whether you want or do not want to do LCVP. Now, as I said, it's very important that parents are involved. So when you've sat down, done your research and all of that, and you're happy with this, and you've discussed it with your parent has to sign it, you have to sign it, and you have to date it. And then it will have to be returned into the office or to Miss Mackin. Now we'll tell you the procedure, whether it goes to the office or Miss McInerney at the time. But as I said, it's important that you look at this subject form now and decide, well, what is going to be the best subjects for you. As I said before, remember your top 4 in order of preference. And then, God forbid, we couldn't offer you one of your top 4. What would be the 5th subject that you would enjoy? Now, as I said, I've given you an awful lot of information here. And the next thing I want to do is to show you my email address. And this is for everybody. If you have any queries or anything in these times while you're doing the research and not in school, you can contact me at this email address when I just click in here. It's guidance@ballyhonuscs.ie. And if you have any queries or anything, please do not hesitate to contact me, and I will get back to you straight away to help you in any way I can. So as I said, a lot of information has been given to you there. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this and to go through it. And if you have any queries or anything, please do not hesitate to contact me. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Mind yourselves. Bye bye.